So hello everyone, we are starting a new course which is MongoDB. So we'll be learning more about MongoDB in the future videos. Let's start with the introduction of the MongoDB. What is MongoDB actually? So MongoDB is an open source document database and a leading NoSQL database. What is open source document database? It means that MongoDB is open source, and open source means that you can easily use it, freely you can use that, and you can upgrade it after making some changes and you can make it better. Also, document database is kind of database which stores the data inside a document, and we'll understand this term in the future videos. And it is also a leading NoSQL database, and NoSQL database is a database which do not use a SQL language for storing the data, and also it is a leading NoSQL database. Like we use it mainly for big data collection, something like that. We'll be understanding its benefits and uh, places of use in future slides. So MongoDB is actually written in C++, so it is faster. You can consider C++ is a very fast language, so it uses that to build MongoDB. Also, it is a cross-platform. Cross-platform means that you can use it on any operating system, which means like you can use it in Linux, Mac, and Windows anywhere. And also, it is document-oriented database, which I have already told you that it stores the data inside a document, and it is its structure. You'll be understanding this document in future videos, or in the next slide you will get that. So database that provides high performance. It is very good performant database when we want to store large amount of data. So it is having that good performance when you want to store the data. And also it has high availability and easy scalability. You can easily scale that database of MongoDB. And MongoDB works on concept of collection and document. And what are these terms? We'll be understanding in the future videos. So you can consider MongoDB document or a piece of data part where MongoDB stores the data. How MongoDB stores the data is this. So document is a kind of structure which is used in MongoDB to store the data. So you can consider document as a JSON, which is used mainly in JavaScript. So you can see that it is simply a JavaScript object which is using key value pairs. So this is the key which defines the field, and this is the value which defines the value of that field. So this is how a MongoDB document looks, and we use it in MongoDB collection. So there are many collections inside that these documents are present. So what is the advantage of MongoDB over RDBMS? So what is RDBMS? It is a relational database, mainly the databases which uses SQL language to maintain the data. Those are called RDBMS or relational database. Inside that, relations are easy to create. So like tables are there and joins are there. So it is talking about that. So why we are using MongoDB over RDBMS when we can use MySQL or PostgreSQL? Why we are using MongoDB? Because MongoDB is a schema-less database. Schema-less means that it doesn't have a strict structure of a database or a collection. It can use or it can store the data or the document without like the same fields in every document. For example, in normal table, when you want to store the data, all the fields are there. So all the fields you have to fill, and if you don't want to fill, you have to store the null there. So that is practically in the table or MySQL databases or SQL based databases. But in MongoDB, you can leave out some fields if you don't want, or you can decrease the size and content, change the content. That is MongoDB schema-less feature. So we can use it without any proper structure. If you don't have any proper structure inside your mind about your database or your table or the collection. So collection is basically the table in MongoDB. So then you can use this feature schemaless, and by default it is schemaless. For giving it a schema, we use separate packages like mongoose and something like that. So that is the future talk. We'll be talking about that later. And also, a structure of a single object is clear, as I have already shown you in the document, like how a MongoDB document looks like. You can see that structure of a single object is clear in that. You just need a key and the value is there. Also, it doesn't have any complex joins. In normal RDBMS or normal SQL based databases, we have joins to like connect with the tables. This isn't present in MongoDB. It uses something else to connect with the collections. So we'll be talking about that in the later videos. Also, it has a deep query feature similar to SQL that we can access the document or the data with a query. MongoDB supports that, and it has dynamic queries on documents or the data which you will store inside that. So it has a document based query language which is similar to SQL, but it is similar to that powerful. We can say SQL and this MongoDB is equally powerful or nearly powerful. Also, tuning is good in MongoDB. Like MongoDB is very well in storing the large amount of data when you don't have any strict schema. For example, when you don't have a table defined or like the fields defined, so you can directly store the data inside MongoDB. So that is the good choice when you want to use the database which do not require any strict schema. So the applications in which we use are some like big data collections. Inside that we use for storing large amount of data, we use that. Ease of scale out, MongoDB can easily scale because it can store large amount of data with a less size, so we can easily scale that out. And also conversion and mapping of application objects to database objects not needed. You don't need any mapping or conversion of application objects to databases. We can directly use the same database in the production. If you want to like host your application, you can similarly use that. You don't need any conversion of mapping of objects. Also, it uses internal memory for storing the windowed working set, like the database which you're using, because for that feature, it becomes very faster. MongoDB becomes faster because of this internal memory feature, and because of this, we can easily access the data and with a faster rate. So we can make it faster with this internal memory feature. So MongoDB uses that and access the data very fastly. So this is the advantage of MongoDB over RDBMS. So what do we use for that? And where to use MongoDB? As I've already told you that the places where MongoDB is used are those places when you want to store the large amount of data without any strict schema. So those are the places. And the places are big data, content management and delivery, mobile and social infrastructure, user data management, data. So when you have a large amount of data, the places where you have large amount of data, mainly MongoDB is used there, or when you don't want any strict schema to be imposed. So where there you will be using MongoDB. So the applications which are like used, or the frameworks in which we use commonly is Node.js. Like Node.js is a backend framework for storing where we can create the database and manage our backend. So for that also we can use MongoDB. It plays well with that. So MongoDB because JavaScript framework. Node.js is a JavaScript framework. That's why MongoDB tunes with that very well. So first we'll be understanding MongoDB practically in our Windows machine, and then after understanding the commands in the shell, we'll be creating the application inside the Node.js framework. So we'll be creating the databases and manage the databases with the help of Node.js queries. So this is how our structure will look, and we'll proceed. And in the next video I'll be telling you how you can install MongoDB and start working with that. So let's start with the next video, and I'll meet in the another video. Till then, bye bye, and thank you for watching.